Okay, so I think it's fair to say that socialism is dead. The values and structure that socialism strives from is far outdated and purposeless to capitalist society. It is no longer about upper class, lower class, but we have many different classes, and we even help those that don't work and are not working hard. Wealth is irrelevant as society, and wealth is evenly distributed, so even if you don't work, you get benefits. If you're unable to work, if you're disabled, to get benefits. So I don't see how socialism has a point, as we do help in capitalist society. Within Europe, we can see that capitalism is seen to be the most efficient way to run society, as socialism doesn't have a sound ground and does not have a sound economic structure to its ideology. Capitalism is economically safe and a function in society and can be easily put forward. Progressive tax and redistribution to wealth hasn't been put in by the Labour government we had before. So the socialist parties that are meant to be socialists don't even use the values that they said they would use. So is socialism really used in our society anymore? Especially in Britain, let alone Europe, where the Labour Party, when they were in government, they didn't do anything to, let's say, progressive tax, to make large tax like 75p. They didn't do anything like that. So is socialism really needed in the society that we have today? The recent inflation in socialist campaigners, well, supposed socialist campaigners, can be said not to be socialist and not to be seen to overthrow capitalism, but can be seen to show that the government are not working as hard as they should be, and that it's not just to overthrow capitalism, but it's to make democracy work in the best possible way. So we're showing that capitalism is the best way because it's always worked in the society that we have in an organic way. Yes.
You said socialism doesn't have a point, yet Gordon Brown was a socialist and he believed in capitalism alongside the equality of opportunity.
That's an evolutionary socialist who believes that we can try and move socialism in a long period of time, and Gordon Brown did say he was a socialist, but he didn't do anything to really help. In the government that we have today, in the coalition government, we have David Cameron and Nick Clegg, and they have done more, for instance, to smoothen the gap between working class and upper class, for instance, trying to reform the House of Lords and things like that, whereas Gordon Brown didn't really do much, as we have a bad economy right now, and he's meant to be socialist. And the reason that we have such a bad economy, well, one of the reasons is because they spent too much on government spending on public, such as NHS benefits, which is a core value of socialism, but we spent so much money now, so everyone who turns 18 and you start working, they're all going to have to pay taxes for something that we didn't even want because of socialism. We can even see today with Greece, as we see the economic crisis in Greece, where government public spending was so much and people were retiring at 50 years old and they were giving so much out, they didn't have enough money in. And so that made failure in society, and that made the economic world it nearly closed down like Europe, because Europe is failing because of the economic crisis that we have today, and that's because they decided to spend so much money that they didn't have. And that's why capitalism is easier, because capitalism does have its best ways, and it does have bad things, but capitalism is the easiest way to change things. And you might say that there's revolutionary socialists, that, for instance, which is a person that thinks that we should just overthrow capitalism and just bring in, everybody does something and we all give it out equally. But that doesn't really have a sound base, because if you think about it, as humans, we are quite selfish and self-involved. So if you had something and I had something, it doesn't necessarily mean I would want to give it to you. So socialism does have a good social issue, and if you look at it, it does really make a good point, but the way we would introduce it to society, it's hard to believe that it would actually work. So overall, socialism is dead because it's disregarded in today's society, and it's been shown that it doesn't really help within the society that we have, even if we look at it even in a small point of view, where individuals